What's going on, YouTube? It's okmall, and today we're covering our Pyro Geo build that we did a few weeks ago. I wanted to touch on some of the things that made this build great and some of the things that I think that I made a mistake on when I leveled this character up. I'm also going to cover all the abilities and at which levels I was trying to acquire certain abilities over others. So let's first start off by just looking at the overall character sheet. This character is level 28, and we have 29 in perception and 20 in the willpower. Now, when I created this character, and the first 10 level ups, all the skill points, or first 9, I guess, all went into willpower. Now, the biggest issue I ran into with willpower wasn't that we couldn't unlock skills. That's not a problem. We can unlock skills plenty. It's that we don't have a whole lot of range. And when you don't have a lot of range, then you can't utilize your wall blocks and your AoEs very well, especially with Magma Rain. Magma Rain has a very, very short range. It's only got 8 range right now, due to the fact that I have 29 points in perception. That has increased its overall range, on top of one skill in particular, which is underneath pyromancy, from flame to furnace, or sorry, from blaze to furnace. I grants +1 range to basically every single skill in the pyro tree. Now, without that, we have significantly less range. I think it's like 4 tiles, if that. What's my bonus range right now? 4? Yeah, so it's super short. And it's really hard to get that AoE off. So that's where this perception came into play. It really helps us out. Gives us a lot more range that we need to stay at a safe distance. And this really shows its colors when you're facing range damage dealers, or even getting into tier 4, tier 5 dungeons, where especially the Merc Stalkers can teleport across your boulders and get straight into your face. Mage Hunters were also fairly scary. They have 2 rush maneuvers. They have dash as well as onslaught or onrush, whatever it's called. And that's pretty scary when they can just come straight at you like that. Necromancers as well. Any mage type classes with resurrections were also a problem. So my suggestion is, instead of just going into willpower like I did right off the bat, you instead worry more about getting your perception up. I would probably focus perception up to 20 right off the bat, and then go to willpower for 15 just to get your cooldowns and your ability energy costs down a little bit more. Then focus right back into perception up to at least 25, if not 30. Then pop your willpower back up to 20, and that'll bring you all the way to level 30. So we're still talking about stats. Let's showcase some of the things that make this build really good. We have the spell energy cost and cooldown durations. Right now they're showing 25 and 34. I don't know why it's 25 right now. Don't ask me. It's usually like 34 and 34, and only when I pop Seal of Cleanse does it go down any more than that. But anyway, 25, 34, very low. So low, in fact, that it doesn't really give you much in the way of fatigue. I can go through an entire dungeon blasting all these high-level spells, and for instance, I just got done from a dungeon, 7% fatigue the whole time, and I was using big boy spells. So pretty cool stuff, if I do say so myself. But there's that bonus range. Extra vision, always lovely to have on a range damage dealer like this. There's health restoration at 25%, energy at 43%. Really helps you just regenerate all your energy without a hitch. Plus, if you got the cleansing chalice, you can actually replenish 10% of your maximum HP without a problem, as well as Ring of Fire, followed by Seal of Cleansing. If you're ever in a pinch, in a bind, and you're like low on HP, like way down here, you know, go ahead and throw down a Ring of Fire, cleanse that stuff, and you'll get all of your energy back. One turn. Super awesome. Then we move on to the protections, right? We have no protections, no block. We have no dodge, right? So that's really why we definitely need to keep the range, the distance in between us. And with Geo, because most of our damage really comes from the Magma Rain and other AoE based spells, right? So we need to keep the enemies at bay, and that's where the Geo comes into play, right? We put this down, we block off with stone spikes, and because our cooldowns are so low, we're able to just always block the enemies off and prevent them from coming anywhere close to us. So that's why our protections aren't really a concern of ours, but we have to keep the enemies at bay. Moving on down, we've got, again, no protection. But here's our magic. We're not going to be the strongest mages out there in terms of like overall maximum damage, but we're no slouch either. We've got 208 magical power, 29 miracle, 150 miracle potency, and only 2% backfire chance, which is offset by just using Seal of Finesse and standing still. Next up, I'll cover gear before we start going into the abilities. Now, for this particular loadout, I went for the Pyromancy staff since we are utilizing a lot of Pyro skills, and it gave us a negative 15 spell energy cost and 35 miracle potency. Pretty neat. We have the Spell Weaver Mantle. I like this one a lot because of the cooldown duration. -7 on that. Negative on our spell energy cost. All things that I wanted when I was doing this build. Mystic Gloves, which I'm pretty sure there were some tier 5s that were a little bit better than this. I'm not too sure why I chose one over the other, but this gave us -10 backfire, 15 miracle potency on top of -6 for cooldowns. Then we move into the ruby rings. We have these ruby rings with -5 on both for cooldown. I just noticed one says -5 and the other one says -4. That's weird. Maybe I had one earlier in the run and then an update happened. I am flabbergasted. It's weird. I don't know which one's supposed to be the right one. Oh, well, either way. Moving on. This one just had magical power, miracle potency, or sorry, miracle chance and energy. And then we got the boots with fatigue resistance. It's one of the biggest reasons why I'm using this. Moving on to the belts, energy cost reduction, backfire chance reduction. And then this is what I would say you have to. Best in slot here for a mage right now is just because of the extra bonus range if you're trying to keep enemies at bay. Great magical power, miracle potency, miracle chance, cooldown duration. Awesome. No protections, but who cares? Who cares? But that's basically what we did in terms of our gear. Nothing crazy. Next up, we'll cover some of the abilities and which ones we took first. Now, I'm going to start off by just showing you guys what we needed to take, and then I'll talk about the order of operations and everything. So for level 1, we went into Runic Boulder and Fire Barrage. The reason for that is the way we're going to be doing our build mostly in the early levels until level 10 probably. If I leave this town here. Yeah, perfect. There's some guys right there. And I'm going to level up, but I'm not even going to worry about that. So what's going to happen is you're going to throw fire on the ground, right? And then you're going to pray that the knockback happens because most of your damage could come from this fire. Because you're going to miss some of the fire barrages, and that's not good. So you're just going to do one of these numbers, light them on fire, and then they're going to wander around just being on fire. And it does so much damage to the individual, right? Same idea. You put some fire on the ground, you push them into the fire. And you would just more or less run away, destroy your boulders, and that's the gist of it, right? By level 2, Seal of Finesse is the next one I would get. And then after that, a Ring of Fire, a couple other things you can get along the way. I'm going to actually shift over to the next screen and kind of give you guys more of a full overview of what the build looks like and why to go for certain things at certain levels. All right, so here I have an overview of all the skills that I would recommend you guys focus on between levels 1 through 10. Now, we've already covered levels 1 through 2. That is Fire Barrage, that is Runic Boulder, and that is Seal of Finesse. Those are the 3 you're going to first get, in my opinion. Now, levels 3 through 10 are going to vary a little bit, but your main focus is going to be to unlock Magma Rain and Stone Spikes as soon as you can. Now, that is going to be difficult when you are focusing on Perception over Willpower, as Perception does not help you unlock the Stone Spikes before level 10, Lingering Incantations before level 10, nor does it allow you to unlock Dash before level 10. So what does that mean for us? That means we're going to have to hold 3 skill points by the time we hit level 10, because we are going to want Stone Spikes as soon as possible, Lingering Incantations, and Dash all at the same time. At levels 3 through 6, you're probably going to end up focusing on Ring of Fire, Baptism by Fire, Precise Movements, and then Disengage. The biggest reasons for those ones, we already have those unlocked. Those are easy to put your skill points into. The only time you're going to really be able to change up this order is, again, if you find the tier 2 treaties for either Pyromancy or Geomancy. The moment you get the Geomancy treaties too, if you are level 3, 4, 5, or anything in between, try to get that as soon as possible. That's going to help us block the enemies off and prevent them from getting anywhere near us. Same thing with Pyromancy Treaties too. If we get these skills early, I put this at 8 just because whatever, at level 10 we're going to get all of them anyway. But if you get this early, these 2 skills, get them a 100% before anything else, okay? That's why numbers 3 through 10 are going to be a little iffy. But as long as you get all of these skills by level 10, I think you're going to be in a really good position. Now, personally, on my run, I did not get dash until a much, much later level, and I think it really screwed me over in certain aspects because I couldn't get away from enemies, especially ghosts that spawn right next to me. Ugh, those were pretty scary. Now that we have an overview, let's pop back into the game and talk about why we're going for the skills we are going for. So let's first start off with the Pyromancy skill tree. Now, obviously, Baptism by Fire and Ring of Fire are required skills before we can get Magma Rain. Magma Rain is going to be one of those things that we were wanting because what we're looking to do is lay down a stone spike like this and then lay down Magma Rain right behind it. Because the idea is to block enemies in a corridor and then lay down fire so that the fire will do damage to them over time. Typically, they'll stay close to this or try to run out. If they get lit on fire, even better, right? But we'll end up repeating this process over and over again through the middle of the game just to deal damage while we're safely far, far away. And you're also going to have Seal of Finesse on. So essentially, you'd have Seal of Finesse. Again, drop a boulder. You'll stone spike it, followed by Magma Rain. That's essentially all you're going to be doing over and over again just to kill everybody. While, again, being super, super safe. Moving on into Geomancy, that's where the stone spikes came in. Pretty straightforward. That's why we want this unlocked as soon as possible. It's for wall blocking enemies. On over to Magic Mastery. Again, precise movements. It's always good because we're going to lower backfire just by being on the same tile and not moving. Stacks with 3 times. But it's also required to get lingering incantations. There's a reason why everything here is lasting as long as it is. It's lingering incantations. And also, every single skill buff that I put myself on, that's why it lasts so long. So, for instance, Seal of Reflection? Holy crap, watch this. 25 turns? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not. It's amazing. And it only has a 4-round cooldown because I'm amazing. So essentially, that's why we have lingering incantations. It's literally going to have the incantation linger that much longer. Moving on over to Dash. That one's pretty straightforward, right? We need Disengage to get Dash, and Dash gets us out of a tough situation. Next up, we're going to cover levels 11 through 16. The reason for that is level 16 is what unlocks the 3rd skill inside of any given skill tree, even if you don't have the attributes to unlock those skills. This is an overview of levels 11 through 16 and the reason why I put them there. At level 11, I'm going to have you guys pick up Flame Saturation. Level 12, we're going to go for Scorch, which is this one right here. And you're probably wondering why we're skipping over Flame Wave. Now, Flame Wave is great and all, but it doesn't have the range that we need. It only hits like within a 4-tile square in front of us. So that's not going to help us when it comes to trying to kill enemies that are in our side of our stone spikes, right? So instead we're going to go 11, 12, and 13 to get Melting Ray. Melting Ray has a huge range, much further away than the Magma range could ever reach. After 13, we're going to pop into 14, which is going to be Flame Wave. On occasion, you can make Flame Wave work for you if you get close enough to enemies that cannot hit you from 2-tile range while they're inside of your boulders, stone spikes. Next up is level 15 and 16. Now 15, it's just to grab this skill so we can get 16, which is going to be Earthquake. Earthquake does not unlock with any perception skills, so it will not unlock naturally by level 16. And once we have Earthquake, we get to do even more AoE damage. It's amazing. Now, Earthquake looks a little something like this. This is kind of how you would do it. If we go through this again, I'm gonna pop that. You do this, you wall block them, slap another boulder down, you Earthquake. And now you can lay down your Magma Rain, and then you need to do Melting Ray, even better. You see how much further away Melting Ray is? Goes right on through any of your boulders, just like that. Freaking awesome. And now we're going to start doing some mad damage to everybody nearby. And heck, by level 16, I think we're going to have at least 20, 25 points perception, maybe, if I'm wrong. I think it might be pretty close to that. And then you can start diving into willpower. And just to recap what these do, the flame saturation grants -10 spell cost for 3 turns for each enemy that's within vision ignited. Dealing repeated fire damage with the ability to use spells is more effective against the ignited. We have Flame Wave. Again, Flame Wave is the skill here. And that's why we don't really need this one. It's hard to hit enemies with it really, really close. Scorch, using ability tree spells, applies all enemies within 5 tiles, -5 fire resistance, and -5 maximum health for 8 turns, stacks 4 times. And then obviously Melting Ray, pretty dope skill, goes through our boulders, it works with our build. Geomancy, we need to get Rune of Fortify, and this one just grants -5 damage, -5 backfire damage for each adjacent runic boulder. So if you really wanted to put a runic boulder nearby, you can do so. It helps you out a little bit. And then Earthquake just does damage and burns their energy too, which is pretty neat. All right, for the next few level ups, what I would recommend getting is extra range for your fire skills. So get this one here, followed by going back into Magic Mastery and going down 18, 19, 20, or 21. These are sort of kind of one of those things where it's like, it's up to you guys, figure out what you want to get first. And then it's either 22 or 23. Interchangeable, sure. It depends on which one you prioritize first. And then you can always go down in here to get pathfinding, so you can start hearing enemies through walls. Helps you deal extra damage. It's a nice, lovely skill to have. After that, it really is all up to you guys on what you really prefer to get. You can see the skills that I still have unlocked that, take your pick, honestly. There's hard target if you want to avoid getting shot, but honestly, at this point in the game, since we have so many points into perception, our range is just about as good as the archer's range is in later levels. So we can block them off with our boulders, and by this time, if we have level 22 and we have this skill here, we are going to have a lot of cooldown reduction already. And we can just wall block, we can kill those archers off without too much of an issue. This is nice to have so you can repair gear that you find throughout, and our gear is super expensive to repair, so having this is going to help us keep that stuff maintained without spending an arm and a leg. Now, some of this stuff here is up for debate on whether you need to get it or not, but we'll cover it in game in just a second. All right, so now let's showcase this one last time with the skills that we went over and why we were getting in them. So if we go back into Pyromancy, we already touched on from Blaze to Furnace adding additional range. So that's the next level up. That's level 17, right? And then we pop back into Magic Mastery because our focus is to go all the way down and get Arcane Lore. Now, Arcane Lore is amazing. Grants 1% magical power, -1 spell energy cost, -1 cooldown duration, and +2 miracle potency for each ability point invested in the sorcery skills. That is Magic Mastery, Pyro, Geo, Electro. Whatever the case is, whatever mixture, you're going to get 1 point for every skill point invested. We're pretty heavy into these skills. That's a lot of points, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It's a lot of skill points. So that's a really advantageous thing to have. So we're going to get, again, Dissipation. Just to talk about this for a second, you take magic damage, you get energy back, and you get magical resistances. Seal of Cleansing. All right, this is a great one. You are blasting out spells and you run out of energy. No worries. Lay it down. Cleanse it off. Now, granted, I have plenty of energy. But had I not had plenty of energy, that's essentially at my level. That's a from 10% to full. Instantly, because it says right here, replenishes 4% maximum HP, 10% maximum energy for each removed effect. We've got 6 tiles there, right? Or 9. 1, 2, 3, or sorry, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm on the 9th one. Anyway, there's 8 tiles there. 80%, bro. So much. So yeah, pretty much full energy with 2 moves. It's amazing. Thaumaturgy grants 3% miracle chance, miracle potency. Miracles will reduce all spells cooldowns by 1. So if anything crits, reduction in that skill cooldowns. Seal of Reflection, pretty straightforward. Slap it on. It lasts for 10 turns. I don't know why it lasts so long last time at 20 some odd turns. That was weird. Is it because of... Hold up. Is it because of this? Seal of cleansing? I don't get it. It stacked up 20 some odd turns last time, and I don't know what I did differently. Oh well. There's probably some mixture of spells I had out in the when I was casting stuff. But anyway, so still a reflection, pretty straightforward. It's a defensive maneuver that we're gonna be able to use, a defensive spell. We are gonna get Inferno. Now this is the other AoE that's just as big as the Earthquake skill. So let's kind of cover what we would do again. So same idea, everything more or less the same. You'll lay a boulder down. You'll wall block with said boulder. And then from here, you can do whatever you really dang well please. If you want to do another boulder followed by Earthquake, you can do that. You want to lay down some Inferno? Feel free. Inferno's got a huge range as well. Look at this. Lay that down. Amazing. They still on the fire? Cool. Drop down some more AoEs. Stack it all. Oh, they're still alive? Melted Ray, right? And hell, look at that. Earthquake's back off a cooldown. All right, well, they're still alive. More Earthquakes. Granted, you don't really want your Earthquakes to overlap like that from my experience. They don't really deal extra damage. It's just there. Otherwise, yeah, that's basically it. That's the whole build. That's the idea, right? Incineration is some of those skills that I got later. So if anything is on fire and they're nearby each other with another enemy, it's really nice to use incineration because it'll deal damage to everybody, pretty high rate too. This here allows you to choose a burning tile or a burning target, removes the burn from it, and deals 21 fire damage in a 3x3 area around it with a 44% chance of igniting all the other targets and dealing damage to them. So pretty cool stuff. That's about it, really. I mean, you can still go pretty heavy into Pyro, getting additional Pyro skills here for, you know, extra cooldown durations and everything else, but it's kind of overkill at that point. But I hope, let me get out of here because this thing is just shaking my whole screen. But I hope y'all found this guide useful. It hopefully explains some of the ideas and the thoughts I had. And honestly, I think that what we got to see from a higher level standpoint is there's some things that I could have changed, and I hope I changed them in this guide, and that's to kind of more or less focus on perception so you get that extra range, so the things that happen to me aren't going to happen to you. Another one thing I changed is some of the abilities that I unlocked later down the road, like dash. I unlocked that at like level 15, 16, or 17 when I really came close to dying, so I'm going to get that to you guys much sooner, so just in case some craziness happens, you can get the heck out of there and keep your permadeath character alive. But as I mentioned, there are some ways to just make this work differently. You don't have to put the skills in the exact same order as I did. I just did them that way because I think it's more optimal, but you guys might have different opinions, right? And this is pretty good. This gets you, according to the guide I put together, it more or less gets you to level 22. And from there, you're not going to have a single issue with anything moving forward. And then you can kind of put your points elsewhere, however you see fit. If you want to continue going into Pyro or this Magic Mastery skill tree, feel free, do it. But like again, if you found this useful, comment down below. Let me know what you think. And I will catch you all next time. Bye.